Chapter 8, 18th Century Political Formations. If you look at maps 1 and 2 closely, you will see something significant happening in the subcontinent during the first half of the 18th century. Notice how the boundaries of the Mughal Empire were reshaped by the emergence of a number of independent kingdoms. By 1765, notice how another power, the British, had successfully grabbed major chunks of territory in eastern India. What these maps tell us is that political conditions in the 18th century India changed quite dramatically and within a relatively short span of time. Okay, so see, let's look at map 1 first. See here with dotted lines, you can see the boundaries, right? So in this paragraph, they are talking about this boundary. Then this is the map 2. Here you can see the British territories in the mid 18th century. Okay, you can read it carefully and then you can locate the British territories in the mid 18th century. Now let's come back to a paragraph here. In this chapter, we will read about the emergence of new political groups in the subcontinent during the first half of the 18th century, roughly from 1707, when Aurangzeb died, till the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. Fine. Now, the next topic, the crisis of the empire and the later Mughals. In chapter 4, you saw how the Mughal Empire reached the height of its success and started facing a variety of crises towards the closing years of the 17th century. These were caused by a number of factors. Emperor Aurangzeb had depleted the military and financial resources of his empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan. Under his successors, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. It became increasingly difficult for the later Mughal emperors to keep a check on their powerful mansabdars. Who were mansabdars? Nobles appointed as governors, also known as subadars, often control the offices of revenue and military administration, diwani and fauzdari as well. Fine. This gave them extraordinary political, economic, and military powers over vast regions of the Mughal Empire. As the governors consolidated their control over the provinces, the periodic remission of revenue to the capital declined. Peasant and zamindari rebellions in many parts of northern and western India added to these problems. These revolts were sometimes caused by the pressures of mounting taxes. At other times, they were attempts by powerful chieftains to consolidate their own positions. Mughal authority had been challenged by rebellious groups in the past as well, but these groups were now able to seize the economic resources of the region to consolidate their positions. The Mughal emperors after Aurangzeb were unable to erase the gradual shifting of political and economic authority into the hands of provincial governors, local chieftains, and other groups. Now let's read this yellow box. Rich harvest and empty coffers. The following is a contemporary writer's account of the financial bankruptcy of the empire. The great lords are helpless and impoverished. The peasants raise two crops a year, but the lords see nothing of either, and the agents on the spot are virtual prisoners in the peasants' hands, like a peasant kept in his creditor's house until he can pay his debt. So complete is the collapse of all order and administration that though the peasant reaps a harvest of gold, his lord does not see so much as a wisp of straw. How then can the lord keep the armed force he should? How can he pay the soldiers who should go before him when he goes out, or the horsemen who should ride behind him? Now, in the midst of this economic and political crisis, the ruler of Iran, Nadir Shah, sacked and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739 and took away immense amounts of wealth. This invasion was followed by a series of plundering raids by the Afghan ruler named Ahmad Shah Abdali, who invaded North India 5 times between 1748 and 1761. Now let's read this yellow box. Nadir Shah attacks Delhi. The devastation of Delhi after Nadir Shah invasion was described by contemporary observers. One described the wealth looted from the Mughal treasury as follows: 60 lakhs of rupees and some thousand gold coins. nearly 1 crore worth of gold ware, nearly 50 crore worth of jewels, most of them unrivaled in the world, and the above included the peacock throne. Now, another account described the invasion's impact as follows upon Delhi. Those who had been masters were now in dire straits, and those who had been revered couldn't even get water to quench their thirst. The recluses were pulled out of their corners. The wealthy were turned into beggars. Those who once set their style in clothes now went naked, and those who owned property were now homeless. The new city Shahjahanabad was turned into rubble. Nadir Shah then attacked the old quarters of the city and destroyed a whole world that existed there. And this is this figure one. This is the 1779 portrait of Nadir Shah. Okay, now let's come to this paragraph here. Already under severe pressure from all sides, the empire was further weakened by competition amongst different group of nobles. They were divided into two major groups of fractions: the Iranis and Turanis, nobles of Turkish descent. For a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hands of either one or the other of these two powerful groups. The worst possible humiliation came when two Mughal emperors, Farooq Siyar (1713 to 1719) and Alamgir II (1754 to 1759) were assassinated, and two others, Ahmad Shah (1748 to 1754) and Shah Alam II (1759 to 1816), were blinded by the nobles. With the decline in the authority of the Mughal emperors, the governors of large provinces, Subadars, and the great zamindars consolidated their authority in different parts of the subcontinent, such as Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. This figure 2. This is Farooq Siyar receiving a Nobel in court. Now the next topic, the Rajputs. Many Rajput kings, particularly those belonging to Amber and Jodhpur, had served under the Mughals with distinction. In exchange, they were permitted to enjoy considerable autonomy in their Watan Jagirs. In the 18th century, these rulers now attempted to extend their control over adjacent regions. Ajit Singh, the ruler of Jodhpur, was also involved in the factional politics at the Mughal court. These influential Rajput families claimed the Subadari of the rich provinces of Gujarat and Malwa. Raja Ajit Singh of Jodhpur held the governorship of Gujarat, and Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amber was the governor of Malwa. These offices were renewed by Emperor Jahandar Shah in 1713. They also tried to extend their territories by seizing portions of imperial territories neighboring their watans. Nagaur. Nagaur was conquered and annexed to the House of Jodhpur, while Amber seized large portions of Bundi. Savai Raja Jai Singh founded his new capital at Jaipur and was given the Subadari of Agra in 1722. Maratha campaigns into Rajasthan from the 1740s put severe pressure on these principalities and checked their further expansion. Now, before proceeding to the next page, let's read this box on the left. Many Rajput rulers had accepted the suzerainty of the Mughals, but Mewar was the only Rajput state which defied Mughal authority. Rana Pratap ascended the throne at Mewar in 1572 with Udaipur and large part of Mewar under his control. A series of envoys were sent to Rana to persuade him to accept Mughal suzerainty, but he stood his ground. Now let's read this green box. Many Rajput chieftains built a number of forts on hilltops, which became the centers of power. With extensive fortifications, these majestic structures house urban centers, palaces, temples, trading centers, water harvesting structures, and other buildings. The Chittorgarh fort contained many water bodies varying from talabs, ponds, to kundis, wells, baulis, step wells, etc. Here you can see this figure 3. This is Chittorgarh fort from Rajasthan. And then you can see figure 4, Jantar Mantar in Jaipur. Now Raja Jai Singh of Jaipur. A description of Raja Jai Singh in Persian court of 1732. Raja Jaisingh was at the height of his power. He was the governor of Agra for 12 years and of Malwa for 5 or 6 years. He possessed a large army, artillery, and great wealth. His sway extended from Delhi to the banks of the Narmada. And here we can read about Savai Jai Singh, the orange box on the right hand side. Savai Jai Singh, the ruler of Amber, constructed 5 astronomical observatories, one each in Delhi, Jaipur, Ujjain, Mathura, and Varanasi. Commonly known as Jantar Mantar, these observatories had various instruments to study heavenly bodies. Fine. So these all are named as Jantar Mantar, and we can see these in Delhi, in Jaipur, in Ujjain, in Mathura, and Varanasi. You can learn all these 5 cities. See this here, you can see this figure 5, Mehrangarh Fort. Now seizing independence. The Sikhs. The organization of the Sikhs into a political community during the 17th century helped in regional state building in the Punjab. Several battles were fought by Guru Gobind Singh against the Rajput and Mughal rulers, both before and after the institution of the Khalsa in 1699. After his death in 1708, the Khalsa rose in revolt against the Mughal authority under Banda Bahadur's leadership, declared the sovereign rule by striking coins in the names of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh, and established their own administration between the Satluj and the Jamuna. Banda Bahadur was captured in 1715 and executed in 1716. See this figure 6, Sword of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. So I'm here, this line, I'm reading it again. Banda Bahadur was captured in 1715 and executed in 1716 century. The Sikhs organized themselves into a number of bands called Jathas and later on missiles. Their combined forces were known as the Grand Army Dal Khalsa. This entire body used to meet at Amritsar at the time of Baisakhi and Diwali to take collective decisions known as resolutions of the Gurmatas. A system called Rakhi was introduced, offering protection to cultivators on the payment of a tax of 20% of the produce. Guru Gobind Singh had inspired the Khalsa with the belief that their destiny was to rule. Raj Karega Khalsa. Their well-knit organization is enabled them to put up successful resistance on the Mughal governors first and then to Ahmad Shah Abdali, who had seized the rich province of the Punjab, and the Sarkar of Sarhand from the Mughals. The Khalsa declared their sovereign rule by striking their own coin again in 1765. Significantly, this coin bore the same inscription as the one on the orders issued by the Khalsa in the time of Banda Bahadur. The Sikh territories in the late 18th century extended from the Indus to the Jamuna, but they were divided into different rulers. One of them, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, reunited these groups and established his capital at Lahore in 1799. Now the Marathas. The Maratha kingdom was established by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj 1630. The Maratha kingdom was another powerful regional kingdom to arise out of a sustained opposition to Mughal rule. Shivaji, 1630 to 1680, carved out a stable kingdom with the support of powerful warrior families, Deshmukhs, group of highly mobile peasant pastoralists, Kunbis, provided the backbone of the Maratha army. Now you can get a question, who are Deshmukhs? So Deshmukhs are the people of powerful warrior families, right? And then who are Kunbis? Groups of highly mobile peasant pastoralists, Kunbis, okay? Provided the backbone of the Maratha army. Shivaji used these forces to challenge the Mughals in the peninsula. After Shivaji's death, effective power in the Maratha state was wielded by a family of Chitpavan Brahmanas who served Shivaji's successors as Peshwa or principal minister. Pune became the capital of the Maratha kingdom. Now it is Pune. Earlier it was Pune. Now before proceeding to the next page, let's read this orange box on the right hand side. And here this figure 7, this is the portrait of Shivaji. Now, towards the end of the 17th century, a powerful state starting emerging in the Deccan under the leadership of Shivaji, which finally led to the establishment of the Maratha state. Shivaji was born to Shahaji and Jijabai at Shivneri in 1630. Under the guidance of his mother and his guardian Dada Kondev, Shivaji embarked on a career of conquest at a young age. The occupation of Javli made him the undisputed leader of the Mavala Highlands, which paved the way for further expansion. His exploits against the forces of Bijapur and the Mughals made him a legendary figure. He often resorted to guerrilla warfare against his opponents. By introducing an efficient administrative system supported by a revenue collection method based on Chauth and Sardeshmukhi, he laid the foundations of a strong Maratha state. Now, the next page. Under the Peshwas. Now, who were the Peshwas? Here we can read Peshwa or the principal minister, right? Chitra, Chittapavan Brahmanas, who served as Shivaji's successors, were known as Peshwas. Now, under the Peshwas, the Marathas developed a very successful military organization. This success lay in bypassing the fortified areas of the Mughals, by raiding cities and by engaging Mughal armies in areas where their supply lines and reinforcements could be easily disturbed. Between 1720 and 1761, the Maratha Empire expanded. It gradually chipped away at the authority of the Mughal Empire. Malwa and Gujarat were seized from the Mughals by the 1720s. By the 1730s, the Maratha king was recognized as the overlord of entire Deccan Peninsula. He possessed the right to levy Chauth and Sardeshmukhi in the entire region. Now let's read about Chauth and Sardeshmukhi before proceeding. The left hand side of the page, Chauth. On the same page you can locate here. See here. You can see Chauth. This is Chauth. Chauth is 25% of the land revenue claimed by zamindars. In the Deccan, this was collected by the Marathas. And let's locate about Sardeshmukhi. Sardeshmukhi is, yeah, it is on the next page. See here. Sardeshmukhi. 9 to 10% of the land revenue paid to the head revenue collector in the Deccan. Now let's come back to a paragraph. We were here. After raiding in Delhi in 1737, the frontiers of the Maratha domination expanded rapidly into Rajasthan and the Punjab in the north, into Bengal and Orissa in the east, and into Karnataka and the Tamil and Telugu countries in the south. Okay, so into Rajasthan and Punjab in the north, then Bengal and Orissa in the east, Karnataka and Tamil and Telugu in the south. Now, these are not formally included in the Maratha Empire but were made to pay tribute as a way of accepting Maratha sovereignty. Expansion brought enormous resources, but it came at a price. These military campaigns also made other rulers hostile towards the Marathas. As a result, they were not inclined to support the Marathas during the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. Alongside endless military campaigns, the Marathas developed an effective administrative system as well. Once conquest had been completed and Maratha rule was secure, revenue demands were gradually introduced, taking local conditions into account. Agriculture was encouraged and trade revived. This allowed Maratha chiefs are known as Sardars, like Sindhya of Gwalior, Gaikwad of Baroda, and Bhosle of Nagpur, the resources to raise powerful armies. Maratha campaigns into Malwa in the 1720s did not challenge the growth and prosperity of the cities in the region. Ujjain expanded under Scindia's patronage and Indore under Holkar's. By all accounts, these cities were large and prosperous and functioned as important commercial and cultural centers. New trade routes emerged within the areas controlled by the Marathas. The silk produced in the Chanderi region now found a new outlet in Pune, the Maratha capital. Okay, so the Maratha capital was Pune. Burhanpur, which had earlier participated in the trade between Agra and Surat, now expanded its hinterland to include Pune and Nagpur in the south and Lucknow and Allahabad in the east. Now, before proceeding, let's read this green box on the left here about Bajirao I. Okay. Bajirao I, also known as Bajirao Balal, was the son of Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath. He was a great Maratha general who is credited to have expanded the Maratha kingdom beyond the Vindhyas and is known for his military campaigns against Malwa, Bundelkhand, Gujarat, and the Portuguese. Now, your next topic, the Jats. Like the other states, the Jats consolidated their power during the late 17th and 18th centuries. Under their leader Churaman, they acquired control over territory situated to the west of the city of Delhi, and by the 1680s, they had begun dominating the region between the two imperial cities of Delhi and Agra. For a while, they became the virtual custodians of the city of Agra. The Jats were prosperous agriculturalists, and towns like Panipat and Ballabgarh became important trading centers in the areas dominated by them. Under Surajmal, the kingdom of Bharatpur emerged as a strong state. When Nadir Shah sacked Delhi in 1739, many of the city's notables took refuge there. His son Jawahir Shah had 30,000 troops of his own and hired another 20,000 Maratha and 15,000 Sikh troops to fight with the Mughals. While the Bharatpur fort was built in a fairly traditional style, at Dig, the Jats built an elaborate garden place combining styles seen at Amber and Agra. Its buildings were modeled on architectural forms first associated with royalty under Shah Jahan. See here you can see the fort. This figure 8. 18th century palace complex at Dig. Note the Bangla dome on the assembly hall on the roof of the building. This is the Bangla dome here. You can see this here. This one. Now, here we come to the end of this chapter, but let's read this orange box on the right hand side here. This paragraph. The power of the Jats reaches zenith under Surajmal, who consolidated the Jat state at Bharatpur in present day Rajasthan during 1756 to 1763. The areas under the political control of Surajmal broadly included parts of modern eastern Rajasthan, southern Haryana, western Uttar Pradesh, and Delhi. Surajmal built a number of forts and palaces, and the famous Lohagarh fort in Bharatpur is regarded as one of the strongest forts built in this region. Now, here we come to the end of this chapter. I will upload the exercise in the next video. Thank you.